There's been a ton of talk about UF's quarterback situation going into the 2023 football season. We're still in the spring and we've already done 2 videos on this channel about it. Plus, we've asked every media member that's been on with us about it as well. But there is a big aspect of the quarterback battle that people are missing, and we're going to talk about it today in our video. The Florida Gators have a battle going on at the quarterback position. We've been told by multiple people close to the program that both Jack Miller and Graham Mertz have had good and bad days, which is honestly totally to be expected this early in their UF careers. There are even times when Max Brown has looked like the best quarterback out there. And while I have faith and confidence in UF staff and ultimately Billy Napier to work to develop whoever will be starting against Utah in Game 1, there's something that I'm even more confident about this year. And that's the guys that the quarterback's going to be throwing to. The Florida Gators have easily one of the most talented receiving corps in the entire Southeastern Conference. They have an excellent mix of young guns and veteran playmakers who are going to make our starting quarterback's job easier. I've said many times over, but it's important to say again, UF does not need a quarterback to go out and win games. They need a quarterback that can manage games and make good decisions. I mean, frankly, they need a quarterback that won't lose games. Want to know what makes decision-making for a quarterback easier? Time in the pocket. A solid running game that keeps a defense honest. And wide receivers who can, 1, get open, and 2, fight for the ball. UF has all of those things, but today we're going to focus on the wide receivers and how they have been doing this spring. Just before we share what we've learned about UF's wide receivers this spring, do me a favor and comment below where you're watching from. I love hearing about where folks are from, so tell me where you are tuned in down below in the comments. All right, let's jump right into Florida's wide receivers. First and foremost, Ricky Pearsall. He came in as a transfer from Arizona State last year. He had a great year. He was UF's leading wide receiver on our roster, but he's also one of the top wide receivers really in the SEC and even the country. He is going to be a leader for Florida. He decided last year to forego dabbling in NFL waters to come back for one more run at it with Billy Napier and the Gators. That makes this his money year, right? How he performs this season is really going to be, it's going to indicate how he gets paid in the NFL. So he really wants to have a good year. He is probably the biggest hit that Billy Napier has had of his career in the portal, along with obviously Osiris Torrance last season. He has been really solid so far this spring. He's everything that you would expect from your number 1 overall returning receiver. He was great in 2022, but honestly, I really expect him to shine in 2023. He came back for a reason. Gator fans are going to see why. The next guy we're going to talk about is Xavier Henderson. He had 3 touchdowns in the last scrimmage. Florida got to see glimpses of him last year that were just really explosive, really electric. It looks like he's built on that this spring. Napier has raved about him multiple times this spring, but most lately in his last press conference. And I think honestly, one of the best parts about Xavier Henderson is his mindset. He says things like, I left some out there on the field. I know I can do better. And instead of harping on the things he does right, he focuses on the things that he could do better, that he didn't do as well as he wanted to. He's constantly looking at how he can improve his game. That's the kind of wide receiver you want. That's also the kind of leader you want. That's something that you want young guys to look up to and want to emulate. Another guy we've heard a lot of great things about is Caleb Douglas. I told you about a huge touchdown catch that he went up and got in the scrimmage on a 50-50 ball. It was really impressive. It was something that a lot of people that were watching that scrimmage were really kind of taken aback by. They said he just has incredible athleticism. We had Zach Alberverdi on the other day from On3, and he raved about Caleb Douglas's athleticism and the good things that he's been doing out there as well. So from multiple sources, we have heard that he is putting together a really impressive spring camp. There's a couple young guys that really have garnered some attention too. We keep hearing about Andy Jean. I feel like his name is getting called everywhere. He's getting written about by everyone. So I think that he should see some pretty decent playing time this season. He is super, super athletic, and a lot of people think that he may have been undervalued by recruiting services and that he will absolutely be a beast for the Gators. And then, of course, Aiden Mizell is another guy that there is a lot of excitement around. He probably will not play super early, but he is very talented. He's definitely going to grow into a role on this offense. I would expect him to maybe have a role on special teams, pretty early on as well. We've heard he's been doing some really nice things in practice and during the scrimmages. He's somebody that coaches and honestly fellow players and people watching have just been really, really impressed with. The other side of this is that we're not talking enough about the Billy Gonzalez impact. We told you the level of players that he has developed, from guys during the national championship runs with Urban to several guys during his latest stint with Mullen. Gonzalez is not only an elite recruiter, but he's also very good at developing talent. When I think about guys like Gene and Mizell getting the most, if not all, of their careers with Billy Gonzalez, the sky is the absolute limit for that room. Obviously, a guy who has coached players like Kadarius Toney, Van Jefferson, Freddie Swain, Tyree Cleveland, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Riley Cooper, Percy Harvin, Lewis Murphy, Andre Caldwell, Dallas Baker, and more, knows exactly what it takes to get guys to the next level, and the wide receiver room is going to greatly benefit because of it. I understand the concern about wanting a quarterback to go out and win you games by himself, but that's just not UF's situation. Instead, they have a ton of guys around a quarterback who are going to make his job easier. Can these playmakers and others get open? Can they win the ball? Will UF's quarterbacks and this group continue to develop even better relationships? Yes, yes, and yes. Y'all have been wonderful with all of your support for the channel. I so appreciate the fact that you guys have commented, told me what you want to see, given me feedback on what I could do differently or better. I would love it if you kept the comments coming. We've got a lot of really great content that we're planning and that's going to be coming soon. But I also want to know what you want to hear. I would love to tailor this channel to what Gator fans want to see, want to hear, are thinking. So I can only do that if you guys leave me great feedback. And of course, as soon as spring is over, we're going to really start creating a lot of recruiting content because the University of Florida will be heading really into heavy, as one of our former coaches would say, recruiting season. But what other types of videos do you want to see? Make sure you comment below because I want to make sure that our content is stuff that you guys want to hear and see. Thank you so much for the support. We did a live show on Thursday. If you didn't see it, go back and check it out by clicking right here to see all the updates from the scrimmage and our chat with Zach Appleverde about who else is sticking out and as a baller this spring.